Hey, what's up everybody? Steve with the Penguin Outdoors YouTube channel. And today, despite this ugly ass zit, I'm filming. So I got a stack of crates here and I'm gonna make two kayak crates. I need a new one for my kayak and my buddy Christian just got a new kayak and he needs one. So I'm gonna go out, man, I cannot talk today. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out two kayak crates and show you how you can build your own. So take a pause for the intro and we'll see you in a minute.
We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
All right, guys, for this project, you only need a couple simple things. The hardest thing is the crates themselves. You can buy them at Lowe's, Amazon, whatever. I suggest you acquire them elsewhere because the whole point is to do this free or cheap. So you'll need 2 crates per 1 kayak crate, and you'll need some zip ties. You'll need a bungee cord, and then depending on how you want to secure it to the kayak, you'll need some stuff for that, but we'll cross that bridge after we make the crates. So let's get rolling. I've got an old crate that's broken I'm going to use to show you what the deal is. So your actual crate itself is just an intact milk crate. It's not modified. Some holes get drilled in it later, but otherwise it's just the crate itself. The top, this is the lid that sits on top. It's nice because you can throw some stuff on top if you want to. I like to put like cutting boards and stuff in here and then put a bungee across, and you just open it up. So the lid is the bottom portion of the crate. So basically, take a skill saw, which is what I'm going to use, and you cut right along this line all the way around and separate it. And at that point, the top part, unfortunately, it's trash. There's really nothing you can do with it. Somebody might be able to find something to do with it. I don't know what you would do with it. So you can tell this one's cracked in a few places. It's years and years old. I did a pretty crappy job when I cut this one. I'm going to try and do a better job this time. But so what we're going to do is we're going to cut that off, set it on top of the crate. We're going to drill some holes and make hinges with zip ties, and then we're going to use a bungee to hold the lid closed. And then we'll be done with the first one because I don't need rod holders on mine. And then on the second one, we're going to add some rod holders for Christian.
They do. I actually have a rapport. All right. I don't know. Let's see. The hairy leg and the white socks and shirt. Does it affect? Yeah, that's the question. That I happen to agree with everything else that you said. I think that. Greeted a publicist. Maybe a shoes, not sneakers, you know what I mean? Not jacket and tie, but yeah, right. Dress shirt would be. sort of like Bob Morton. I mean, Bob Morton now wears a suit, but I mean, something like, something.
I didn't do horrible.
It's a meaning to the show, I think.
We'll sand this down so it's a little cleaner, a little smoother. Not too terrible. Heavy duty zip ties are preferable, but this is what I have. It's what I'm going to use. The beauty about this is that it doesn't matter a whole lot because all it's doing is creating a hinge, and if they fail, you just replace them. So who cares? So what we're going to do is we're going to drill holes for the hinge on one side only. Oops. We're going to put holes down length of here in each corner and holes that match underneath so we can feed the zip ties through.
To give someone a compliment once in a while is free. It doesn't cost you anything.
Like I said, heavy duty's better. Black zip ties are obviously better. This is what I had. Creates a nice little hinge, and the way this lip rides, when you open it, it kind of settles into its spot, and it'll, if you get the tension right on the zip ties, it'll stay open like that until you pull it closed. So with mine, all I'm going to do now is I'm going to drill a hole for a bungee. I'm going to show you that in a second here. I'll end up sanding the top down, and I'll probably put a bungee across later for my cutting board to ride in there. But for mine, it'll be pretty close to done other than securing to the kayak because I don't need the rod holders, but we're going to get some rod holders on Christian's. I used the bungee I had on my old kayak crate because it's still good. Basically what I did is I took a cheap bungee cord and I cut the end and burned it. And you'll see in a bit here, I'm going to feed this through a hole that I drill, figure out the length that I want, and then tie a knot to keep it from pulling back out. But it's real important, you want to make sure you burn the end so it doesn't come apart on you. So drill a hole for your bungee directly opposite from the side you put your zip ties on. Alright, so you can see, very simple. Bungee goes through one of the milk grade openings, goes through here, gets a simple overhand knot, and it's good to go. You're off to the races. My crate, I like it to open from this side, so I reach over from that way to open it because it's most comfortable for me to turn around to my right. In the Outback, I can turn either way I want. I can turn around the seat and sit on my knees. So I can access any it could be either direction back here. The reason that I'm pointing out that I like to figure out which direction you want it to open from is because when we add the rod holders, you want them to be, in my case, on the back, and I'm going to put them on the back for Christian also. I'm going to set his up the same as mine, and the beautiful thing about this design is if he decides later that he would rather it open the other way, he can either move the rod holders or he can just cut the zip ties and flip the lid around. Super easy. So mine's pretty much done. The only thing that has to happen with mine is I need to put on some hooks. So let me show you how I have my live well hooked because it's going to be pretty much the same idea. So I've got these little simple kayak, I call them eyelets. I don't know what they're actually called, guys, to be honest. Let me fold this seat down. So the way mine works is I have a hook in the track with a simple cam strap that's just tightened down. And then I've got eye hooks on my track here as well. Same thing, a cam strap on either end. It's not going anywhere. So for the crate, I'm going to do basically the same thing. I'm going to have either eyelets on it or these ring hooks. I have both. I'll probably put eyelets on it. But what I'll do is I'll run I have another eyelet that goes here. I'll run a cam strap from here, and then one in the front between the rod holders to here. Well, I won't have rod holders on mine, but from dead center on the crate, make sure you don't do it on the lid because then the lid won't open. Back to this one here, and then it'll be strapped in. So that's mine. Let's go ahead and put Christian's together and do the rod holders. Okay, I got Christian's kayak crate together. I'm ready to put the rod holders on. The next steps will depend on what kind of rod holders you have. Now, you can use just straight up PVC You can buy rod holders. You can use rod holders you already have. Normally I would use PVC, but I already had these. These are, I honestly don't know if that's an H or an L. I'm going to say that this is pronounced Hoggery and that's silent. I don't know. It's a company on Amazon. They sent me a 2-pack of rod holders for free to try out, and they've just been sitting in one of my totes. So we're going to use them on Christian's Kayak Crate. So you can buy a Build-A-Crate kit from Yak Attack. The Build-A-Crate kit is nice because not only does it come with the rod holders, it comes with a backing plate. The rod holders go against the crate, and then this bar goes on the inside, gives them something solid to connect to, locks all 3 of the rod holders in an equal spacing, and I think the kit's like $10. Like, it's not a lot of money, or at least it used to only be like $10. For this one, I'm going to make for these ones, I made a hole at the top. I actually made 2 holes because I was testing it out before I turned the camera on. I drilled a hole basically the same size as the bolt, slightly smaller, and I just turned the bolt through. I'm gonna bolt the top of them, and then the bottom section, if I have a washer, that will work out. I'll use a washer as a backing plate and use the bolt. If not, I'm just gonna zip tie the bottom, because you can honestly put them on with zip ties and call it a day. I strongly suggest heavy-duty zip ties with that, if that's how you secure your rod holders. And just remember, when you're using rod holders on a kayak crate, or really anything on a kayak, it's always a good idea to tether them, in case something comes along and yanks too hard. So I had washers. I'm able to make this work. So the bolt, on the top here, I just used the nut that came with it. Down here, I've got a big washer that fills the gap, and then a little washer that mates up with the nut there. That rod holder isn't going anywhere. I was on a bit of a struggle bus with this second one. And the reason being, and your milk crates will all be different, this honeycomb pattern, it didn't line up. This one lined up perfect on this side to have the rod holder straight without anything fancy, just the washers on the back. This one was a little different. It wouldn't quite settle in, and it's still not perfect, but it's pretty close. What I did is I had some scrap HDPE rod from when I made my H-rail spacers to accommodate my seat risers. So all I did was just take, it's basically a washer made out of plastic, and I used that to fill in that opening with the honeycomb there. So this one's all set for Christian. So since most kayaks have bungee in the cargo area, like mine did originally, I just changed things up for my own needs. So what I'll do is I'm gonna take 4 carabiners, and it's really this simple. I'm gonna clip them. I'm gonna clip 4 of them, 2 on each side, and then I'll actually flip it the other way around. And then it's as simple as when you set down the kayak, you stretch the bungee up and you just put it through here, and that'll keep your kayak crate in the kayak. And then if he wants to change up how it's connected later, I mean, he definitely can. Well, we hoped you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more great videos from the Penguin Outdoors YouTube channel, don't forget to click subscribe. And while you're at it, hit that little bell so you get notified when new content is available. Please leave us a comment down below and let us know what you thought. And don't forget to hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.